Back in the 80s, anything could be busted, as proven by today's episode where us, Rabbit Troop Sucks, are going to be looking at 1984's Ninja Busters. Isn't that right? I'm Paul, and next to me is Mike.
I'm Mike.
We're a podcast about obscure and overlooked films.
Mm-hmm. And little known fact, bustin' makes me feel good.
Did it make you feel good all throughout this film?
It did not.
Mike, are you telling me you're not the biggest fan of Ninja Busters?
No, I enjoyed this film. I'll sprinkle it in as we go, but I did have fun watching this.
I found this movie through a random person on Instagram who I became friends with years ago, who follows a bunch of weird movies. His name's N. And
N, like the letter, or is it like
E-N?
Of course.
And this guy posted about this, and then I bought this film, and Mike and I watched it on Blu-ray disc.
Mm-hmm. It was so many deaths.
It was.
Much crisp.
So many deaths.
Yeah.
It was Mos Def.
It was. Was he in this?
He was.
Yeah.
He was overseeing it in a way. In a way that many people knew. But yeah. So let me just jump into a little summary.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Because the summary also seems to be a little bit of a critique, but you'll get to that at the end. Two pals tired of being losers and constantly rejected by women decide to change their lives with learning martial arts. Through hard work, they become kung fu masters, role models, find love, and become heroes after defeating an unruly gang of ninjas for hire. Constant hilarity ensues. I love that. Yeah.
The hilarity was nonstop.
I like that the little last 3-word touch at the end. When was the hilarity not ensuing? I mean, it was
start to finish with the hilarity.
Yeah, I'm trying to even read my handwriting to go in. There's some ninjas. Oh yeah. So this movie opens up with some credits. Okay, no problem there. Uh-huh. And more over to the right of the screen, there is some ninja shadow boxing and some ninja training.
And what's happening on the left of the screen?
So on the left, every actor is being introduced.
Right, they're like making him stand on like a fucking lazy Susan and spinning him around, and everyone looks really uncomfortable.
Yes, everyone is definitely being spun. I don't know what's happening. There's one particular actor. She is darting her eyes in every single direction. It looks like she's making, hexagons. It's bop, 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 like everywhere, because people are spinning and filming you, and it's clear that it's you're being told, do not look into the camera. So
right. Like she's trying to like calibrate a VR headset
with her eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she ever calibrate it?
No.
Is she still like only halfway closer to that little like hammock that you want to sit in the VR realm?
Yeah, she's well, if this movie teaches anything, she will fall over before she gets there.
That's fine.
So also another thing that's happening while these people are spinning around and the ninjas are shadowboxing is, and this sets the precedent for the rest of the movie. Paul, I know you love 80s saxophone music in your movies.
Sure do.
So how did you feel about this, which is all saxophone all the time?
Yeah, so not good. Let's just open and end with that. Not good at all. Mm-hmm. So many saxophones. Later on in the movie, that sax just comes back like someone just woke up and they're like, oh man, sax duty. Mm-hmm. I should have been on it, and aggressively gets back on that sax. The soundtrack, I think, is usually drum machines and really weird, aggressive, hard line synth, but a real bass and sometimes other jazz instruments. And later in this film, you will see a 20-piece Latin jazz band that the director is clearly in love with, just madly in love with. And I'm wondering if some of these members are doing the soundtrack. I just kept thinking that because,
That wouldn't surprise me.
well, I mean, how featured this band is at the end is alarming. Where
Yeah.
I'm held captive in this nightclub myself.
Yeah, with the low rent Tito Puente cover band.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so how many? You've seen this movie multiple times now.
This is my second time.
It's only your second time. Okay.
I own it, but I've seen it that one other time.
Okay.
I saw it with Lamar. Hey, Lamar.
Yeah, he couldn't be here tonight. He would have been. Well, I don't know. Did he enjoy it the first time?
I felt Lamar thought hilarity ensued,
Okay.
as do I.
Yeah. No, I mean something ensued. My notes are real weird, so like we're just gonna have to kind of dig in, I think.
Well, we now have a random mob boss and maybe two mob bosses.
Yeah.
And they go to some just absolutely stunning gardens.
Yeah.
Everyone is walking through some gardens and some big house. And this woman is now at the top near the house, but at the top of the gardens. That's how big this estate is. And the acting that
Oh my god. This woman is clearly looking at people with what's it called? Not flashcards.
cue cards?
Cue card, yeah. Yeah. So we hear you have ninjas. I do have ninjas. These ninjas are here for a price. I would like to see these ninjas. That makes sense. Ha ha. These ninjas are ha 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 already looking at you.
How could this be?
And then the ninjas come out.
And they do.
Oh my God.
A lot of broad daylight ninjing
Yeah.
in this film. Yeah, and I use that as a verb going through that.
Yeah.
People are just ninja-ing themselves through any situation, thick and thin. A lot of daylight. Clearly, it's probably the low budget of this
Yeah,
film.
they couldn't afford the lights. Much
Yeah.
like with Miami Connection. They had to film this like at 12 o'clock in the afternoon to make it look right.
But yeah, I mean, I was gonna say at least Miami Connection had like nightclub scenes, and we definitely do have a nightclub.
Oh,
scene.
yeah, we go to a
So
nightclub.
we have a night scene, but so many day ninjas.
A lot of day ninjas, yeah. So yeah, he's happy with the price of the ninjas, I guess.
Do you think I could look up day ninja on Craigslist? Like, and what would that entitle?
I don't know what you're hoping to get out of this. Maybe we should title the first Night Prism album Day Ninja.
I'm gonna write that
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
That's a good little note.
Yeah. Put that in your pocket. It's a treat for later.
Yes.
So now we have what the fuck is it? Chip and Ben and Jerry or
Chicken Benny.
Chicken Benny.
Chick. So, all of you Matt Berry fans out there and the Toast of London, Chick looks exactly like Ray Purchase. He looks like Ray Purchase. Kind of meets Jim Varney.
He also gets kicked in the dick like Ray Burgess.
A lot of people suffer those consequences through this film. I really don't know why. Yeah. And then there's Bernie, yes. And then there's some other people. There's Sonny later. There's a lot of people in this film.
Chick, like Chick Korea.
CHIC.
Okay. Chick and Benny are the two fucking limpest dicks you've ever seen in your goddamn life. These two guys are just the biggest fucking jodes at the beginning of this movie.
What are you referencing? Where like Chick is rolling around, burning on a dolly through a warehouse.
Yeah,
At first, I thought they were shopping at a hardware store. That was my first comment. And Bernie is playing on a beatbox, just some endless Casio loop, like boop bop, boop boop bop. And so now they're just singing a song to it. And I guess they're at work. They're at the warehouse. They're at some kind of massive warehouse.
Yeah.
This podcast is not brought to you by American Furniture Warehouse. They have not reached out. But that could be where they're at, maybe. Unknown, but didn't think Mike was going to be so hot out of the gate with his description of the two. But hey, you know, sometimes you got to bust some ninjas, and sometimes those ninja busters have beginnings.
Yeah, so we're setting the precedent that these guys are just like footloose and fancy-free, clumsy goofballs. We see them outside. They're talking to some weird old man.
Okay, let's talk about the weird old man.
Okay.
So I'm gonna reenact how we meet the old man. So we get this kind of shot where it's like zoomed away, where like three guys are huddling up for a lunch, and you kind of get the angle, like a campfire angle, but you know it's during the day. Peanut butter sandwiches. Peanut butter sandwiches. I'm sick of these peanut butter sandwiches. I'm sick of it. Do you hear me? And Chick or Bernie.
Why don't you just have your wife make you something else?
I don't have
a
wife. Yeah, I make these peanut butter sandwiches myself. What are you trying to say?
Yeah, and he
What?
Throughout all of this, we see Chick pretending to eat his own sandwich for 5 minutes, taking no bites at. Well, he does like the fake movie bite, but it's very obvious.
And like a lot of fake punches you'll see in here.
And now this old man, after he's complaining about his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, he's talking about.
I didn't hear jelly. I just heard peanut butter, and that could have been the problem. He was
saying
just those peanut butter.
Well,
sandwiches.
maybe if you throw some jelly, it'll be better. He's like, yeah, I mean, what you guys need to do is not work here because this fucking sucks. Our bosses are gang lords and they're smuggling things. It's just, everyone knows, like, everything in a crate with the dragons, like gold or diamonds. And they're like, oh, okay. I could.
Yeah, this is like
some of that.
Like a real solid video game setup. Like,
right, like he's a quest giver. This man is never seen again in this movie.
Yeah, like you were earning money just to survive, like off the streets. You all of a sudden learn like you're working for the mob because whatever you're doing is a front. But apparently you're doing real work, but it's kind of a front. But don't worry about it. Peanut butter sandwiches. Peanut butter sandwiches.
Right.
Great, like solid info. We now know that there's the mob connected. So
yeah,
great.
Okay. Well, and now we've set that up, and we'll not talk about that again for the next 40 minutes of this movie.
I would assume, though, with that knowledge, even these boneheads would be like, I'm probably not gonna jerk around in the warehouse anymore.
Yeah, none of this
like
pussyfooting around.
Remember the last time I was like rolling you around on a dolly and we're singing? Probably not.
Yeah.
We're good. We're good.
So they take this information and they decide to go out to dinner, I guess. And they're trying out some new pickup lines because, again, these guys have zero game with women. Chick, who is a tall, doofy white man with a mustache, is like, hey, my buddy here, what's his name? Chick and Benny?
Bernie? Or just Burn?
Whatever. Bernie is a Chinese gentleman. Sure.
And gentlemen.
Who... He's like, my buddy here was one of Bruce Lee's students.
Number one student.
And I actually taught Bruce Lee a thing or two.
Waitress, highly impressed.
Yeah, the waitress was like, fuck yeah. What did you teach him? And he's like, I taught him the
tiger yell.
The tiger yell. And she's like, can you do it now? And he goes, ah, or whatever. And she's like, that's it. That's exactly the tiger yell.
And it was not at all. It was not even close.
It was definitely not the tiger yell.
Could have been Tiger Beat.
These two bikers sit down at the table next to him and are just clowning on them relentlessly. Rightfully so.
Sort of.
Well,
I feel they were minding their own damn business. And then they turn. So they're super rude to the waitress. That is true. But then they kind of keep to themselves. But then they turn around and they look at Chick and Burn. And they're like, why are you just staring at us?
Right. They were staring at them.
They were totally staring. Like the chair is turned around staring at the other person at a diner. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So the bikers, there's one old like gray beard biker.
You seem to really like that guy throughout the film.
I do, yeah. And then there's one younger biker
Sonny,
who becomes a main character. They begin to make a lot of racist comments about Bernie, about how because he's Chinese, he should do their laundry for them. And the old biker, what I believe, if I'm correct, he reaches down into his pants, rips his underwear off of his body up through the waist of his pants, and throws it at Bernie. Is that correct?
Yep.
And he says, "No starch." And the younger one says, and this it's like, "Yeah, we don't like our underwear hard. When we're on our bikes, it's hard in our butts." You don't want it hard in the butt when you're on a motorcycle, let me tell you.
Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
brought to you by Rabbit Troop Socks.
So the waitress is like, "Hey, I mean, you guys are karate masters, basically. Why don't you fight these guys right now?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do that." And they have no game, and the bikers just kick them in the dick repeatedly. Each one of them gets kicked in the dick. And I've broken Paul for the second time. But that am I wrong? Is that
Why was that their go-to?
well?
I mean, like the other guys clearly don't even know how to fight. What?
Because they wanted to humiliate him. They ordered food. They wanted to get it over with. They didn't have time to fuck around. They just went right for the dick.
Yeah. So if you have watched The Toast of London, even referenced more, Ray Purchase gets it, and then in The Toast of London, he giveth. So yeah, wow, yeah. This movie does not hold back the punches.
No, or the dick kicks.
Nope.
So humiliated and roughed up, they're walking down the street away from this restaurant. They don't feel like they can go back. And they see...
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But right before they leave, I forgot, I jotted down a little bit of the dialogue. The biker Mike likes, like the older biker, a lot of baby talk. He's
like, "Hey, baby."
Well, before the rumble starts, he goes, "I'm going to pound you, baby." Yeah. And that I think might have been what disarmed me. He's like, "I'm going to pound you, baby." And then it just kicks the other guy right in the balls. And I was like, whoa, that twist.
Yeah. You aren't wrong. The old dick twist. But yeah, they're walking down the street and they see a karate dojo, and there are some babes in there doing karate, and they're like, their mouths are watering. Like, we got to get on this babe karate.
I don't know if like the sign was fully like available, this dojo, but over the course of many shots of being in and out of this dojo, I noticed I don't even feel it's offering a dojo. The biggest and most prominent thing I feel it is offering is a ninja spa.
Yeah, there was a spa advertised. And so also the front of this is like just a strip mall studio. And then when you walk in, there's like an Asian garden back there. And
my God, Mike.
An ancient
I'm
Chinese
so glad
temple.
you're saying that because, yeah, so you go in and apparently they're gawking at these women. They're ogling that there's these classes. And they're like, well, maybe we should learn martial arts too. But really, like, was this a real thing that they wanted to do? Who the hell knows? But there's these women training in martial arts. And they walk in and grossly just start looking at them like a cartoon. They're like jaw dropped. And then, yeah, Mike is correct. They are then given the tour, like the master will see you. And then they're given this elaborate tour to like the effing Shangri-La of strip mall units. Like, oh my God. Cherry Creek. If this was in Cherry Creek, the rent on this would be...
Oh, it would be $1 billion.
It'd be $150,000 a month.
It actually kind of reminded me of Domo.
I mean, there's also a mentality.
Yeah, well, the front of it, I mean, Domo is was in Denver a restaurant slash, what was the discipline? Was it Taekwondo?
No, it was it a keto?
You're right, it was a keto. But it's like, it was in the like industrial Santa Fe,
an Osage
bullshit district. Like it's between a truck yard and like a train station. But you walk in and it's this beautiful restaurant with like these this dojo in this garden.
Yeah, it's like handcrafted wood.
Yeah. And it sadly closed, I think, within the last year.
I believe that to be correct. Their food was awesome.
Their food was awesome. But like you walk through this little strip mall and yeah, there's like this whole ancient Chinese city back there, or Japanese because it was karate.
Right.
So the sensei of this place, I don't know his name. Did you recognize this guy?
No.
He is in every movie between like 1975 and 1995 that had the word ninja in the title. He is in.
Yeah, there's another ninja movie. It's like Ninja Academy, which I will 100% be willing to do for this.
He was also in the new G.I. Joe movie. He played a character called Hard Master.
That doesn't seem right. That Mike watched a different kind of G.I. Joe film than I.
Yeah, it was shit.
Sometimes Mike travels.
There's
a hotel movie on.
I
just innocently thought he was watching G.I. Joe. I didn't know there was a third part.
Yeah.
He knew there wasn't a third part.
Why is this channel? Why do I have to pay for this? I thought it was just HBO.
Why am I now part of a service?
Mm-hmm. Man, I
have two-step verification for the service on my phone.
It's on my expense report now. I got to explain this.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, they decide they want to be part of this karate dojo.
I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're given this tour, and no joke again. It's like this luxurious area where people are living. There's this like training courtyard. I don't know what's going on. It's insane. I have no idea. But yeah. Not only do these two guys decide, I'm going to join, I was thinking about this with Domo itself, because my understanding, some of the employees, not all at Domo, maybe all, they were also, students of the sensei who is the head chef. And if anyone looks this up, it was Domo. And you could, the head chef has a cookbook, if not two, that you could buy. I think he was really knowledgeable about sake, which is great. So all cool things. And I was like, okay, because these two dudes do that. Like,
yeah, that was one of my notes. Like, did they fucking quit their job?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. They are just here now.
This is the martial arts version of Stripes now.
It is.
I was like, whoa, like they walk in the front door and all of a sudden they are straight up living there. Like they're given clothes, they're given chores to do. They are now training. I did not know such decisions were made by these two gentlemen so quickly, but whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, they're there to train though, but throughout the whole thing, they keep trying to pick up these women. It doesn't fucking work. At one point, one of them's like, "Hey, I read this book." Chick was like, it's the book on how to pick up women. These women are tough. They know karate. You got to like talk dirty to them. You should go talk dirty to that one. Like I got a different one. But you, Benny, you give that one a go. He goes over, and I believe she kicks him in the dick.
You are correct.
Yeah, okay.
Again, bing bong.
Yeah, there's a lot of dick kicking in this movie.
Here is also the setup. So you don't really know what Bernie says.
No, you can't. You can't.
So the woman, I think it looks like she's on a payphone, and then puts it down, and then is about to walk off. And he approaches her, and they've clearly know each other because they are training in the same facility. And she seems interested. Like she seems like, oh, like, hey, like there's like this huge smile. Like, oh, I'm glad you're talking to me.
Right.
And then he says clearly something asinine, and she kicks him right in the junk.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this woman probably would have totally gone out and had like coffee or like gone out and had a bite to eat or something. But you said something super stupid. Good job, lady.
Right. It's also worth noting, like Benny.
Feel the burn.
Feel the burn. He is super fucking shredded.
Yeah.
Like he's a decent looking guy. Like, he's in super good shape. But yeah, he's just such a doofus. He can't get any traction. At one point, they go up there. They have a hot tub. They go up to a bunch of the babes in the hot tub.
Do you remember? Did you write down the pickup line?
Do you want a free pizza? Yeah. Hey, you babes want a free pizza? They don't. They don't want the pizza.
I feel this is going to be like fatherly advice that I'm going to have to give my daughter one day. Like, if anyone ever approaches you, especially if you're just sitting in a hot tub with friends, hey, you want a free pizza? You say no.
The answer is no.
You say no to that pizza. Like, it's going to be like life lesson. Like, I feel like every parent gets like 5, where like your kid is like, they drilled it into my brain so hard that like I would never question it. And that's going to be like one of them. Like, you never take that free pizza.
Never follow a hippie to a second location. Don't take the free pizza.
Especially if you're in a hot tub with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. So, more hijinks ensue. They end up breaking something by falling off. Because these guys are clumsy as fuck for some reason. The punishment for breaking the gazebo or whatever the fuck it was, they had to go on a 5-mile run, which they didn't do. They just went to get a pizza that they ate.
Yeah, the sensei is super weird. The sensei is like this very matter of fact, like, hey, you guys are gonna go 5-mile run. Like, I'm not even gonna explain it to you. There's not even a moral lesson. And I'm like really thrown off by the sensei all the time. And I mean that honestly because of all the Asian sensei stereotypes that you'd get. That it would be like slow, abridged, deep voice like this. It is not. The guy just talks in his normal voice.
He does, but then we have a very, very stereotypical scene next so they come back from the 5-mile quote unquote run, faces covered in marinara. And the sensei he locks them in like some kind of weird torture box.
Yeah.
And the assistant sensei is like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? You got to get these guys out of here. And sensei spends 4 minutes stroking his goddamn ancient Chinese secret beard.
That's why I'm thrown off.
Right.
And he's also his mannerisms follow all those like old stereotypes, but then he's like, call me Brian.
Right. He's like, you know what? I don't want to get rid of them because they're teaching us an important lesson. They're teaching us patience.
Right. Sweet.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, okay, dick, whatever.
And you know what? We don't see that other guy for a long time, Mike.
No,
like,
we don't.
I can't.
I forgot about who that guy was until the end when he popped back up.
Well, you got to assemble the crew.
Yeah.
You can't leave this guy out.
No.
Who's apparently running like a Coco Cabana band.
Yeah. He shows up later in the movie. His lapels are 8 feet wide. And he is ready to go.
His lapels were... How often can you say this? His lapels were magnificent.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple more scenes of like Chic trying to pick up this babe again.
One of my favorites is he does get a phone number. And he's really excited. This girl comes back and says, you know what? I'm going to give you my phone number.
You know what he says to get that phone number? He says, give me a break. I'm really great. And this chick's like, okay, here's my phone number.
And then he gets excited and calls it, and it's the direct line to the police station.
It is the direct line to the police station. And now we are treated to the first of, if I counted correctly, the first of 4 montages.
Like, there could be many.
Yeah.
This movie is a montage. It's the dream of a... So if you had a dream, but you were dreaming of montages, welcome to Ninja Busters, friend. You're in a misty breeze, and it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that.
Right. So, they're here, they're training, they're putting in the effort. They're kind of growing up a little bit. But now the 2 bikers from earlier in the movie show up.
Yeah.
And why did they show up? Because they just wanted to check out the babes doing karate. They walk in, they're like, man, look at these babes, and look at these fucking phonies.
That's what Sonny says.
Yeah, look at these phonies. Bunch of goddamn phonies.
These guys are, no, it was Stripe, these guys are phony.
Yes.
And it's to everyone. And he did not see Chic and Bernie at that time. He just straight up walked in. So imagine the shout out to Tiger Kim's. I think we gave it once. Tiger Kim's. Hell yeah. Colorado, Denver, Tiger Kim's. Go take your picture out front. Go watch awesome Tiger Kim's displays. It's like if I bust into so Tiger Kim's is like open windows. Imagine Karate Kid style. I used to live right across the street from one on Colfax. Imagine that you saw that were 40 people training in a dojo, that they were all probably good, regardless of their gender, regardless of their age. There's 40 of them, and clearly there's probably, if you took a really quick gander and you had any kind of observational skills, you're like, there are 3 or 4 people that seem like they're in charge here, that they are bigger, that they might be well trained, and then there are 40 other people. I'm going to bust into that room and start harassing everyone.
Yeah.
Great plan. Like me and my buddy just roll up. Me and Mike. Hey, Tucker kid.
You bunch of phonies. And yeah, and then the older one's like, you know what? My friend's going to kick butt today. He'll kick butt tomorrow. Yeah, he does. He has an open schedule. He'll kick butt whenever. He's just let him know.
He's flexible.
But the little one, what?
Sonny?
Sonny? Yeah, Sonny's like, you know what? I'm going to join this dojo because I want to fight with these 2 guys. Or no, he wants to fight Bernie. Fuck.
Feel the burn, buddy.
He wants to fight Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sensei's like, all right, chill, that's great. But caveat, no fighting until you're a black belt. And they're like, oh my God, that's going to take 3 years. He's like, that's right, it's going to take 3 years.
But then, that's fine. Then you could fight.
Yeah, but then you can fight.
And everyone is immediately in.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, cool. And then the older biker leaves, and he doesn't come back till the end of the movie.
He's doing biker stuff.
Yeah, he had biker shit to do for the next 3 years.
Maybe there's like a crossover in like the Wizard. Is it the biker gang that's driving them around California? Could be. Could be. You never know.
But now we see Sonny kind of settling in. Chic tries to introduce him to the weird Porky's hole that looks into the women's bathroom. But Sonny's like, dude, I don't want to look in there.
Sonny becomes one of my favorite characters immediately for this. Okay, so yes, let's backtrack.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're like kind of like getting dressed. They're out of like their like training gear. I don't know what they're doing, but they're in like the male segregated area, a locker room. And yeah, Chic is like, oh man, if you like pull this panel around, you could like look into the girls' locker room. And Bernie's like, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're like, bro, fuck yeah.
And they're like, even though you suck, Sonny, like you could go look too. He's like, yeah, I'm not really into that. He's like, oh, you don't like looking at naked women? He's like, nah, I do, but not like not that way.
Maybe, yeah.
I was like, yeah, dude, right on. I'm like, what are you doing?
Right.
And then Sonny walks up. I was like, man, he bested you with his fists and he bested you with manners. Like this guy doesn't even need to go 3 years.
With his mind, his body, and his heart.
Yeah.
He's besting you.
He's got the glow. He's Bruce Leroy all in one.
You know what? There were a lot of what's that movie called? Something Dragon?
Yes.
Something, yeah. There were a lot of moments of that for me here. What the fuck's that movie called?
It's anything you want it to be.
Okay. You're not gonna tell me. Okay. Now we have montage number 2. And the wacky sax it's taken up a few notches here for montage 2.
Oh yeah.
They're training. They have to go through, and I'm not a martial artist. If any of you are, Nemo, let us know if you have to do this with your BJJ stuff. That's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you fucking pervs. They had to go through like this Super Mario puzzle where they had like swinging balls that you had to like move your head around.
It was like 5 maces just twirling around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are those the Morning Stars?
Yeah, nice. There were Morning Stars.
5 Morning Stars.
Yeah, and then they had bullet bills came out and they had to jump over those.
The Last Dragon is the movie.
Last Dragon, thank you.
And I'm 100%. I think we've already said this before. I'm 100% willing to do that movie.
Right. But do you think we'd be able to get a?
I think that was what was mentioned before.
Yeah, I don't know where to find him.
A wish.
Rami does.
Mm-hmm. A wish upon a feather.
So now, Safeway bag of Vaseline. So now the skills are getting upped. Now Sensei is like, you know what, Chic? It's time for you to be the teacher. You can teach people basics, and the word basics is said 87 times in the exchange between Chic and
I can't teach basics.
I can't teach basics. No, you must teach the basics. Yes. Well, the basics are so basic. It's like, well, we've got students coming in. They're going to need to learn the basics, and I think you're ready to teach basics to these basic students. It is bonkers.
The biggest philosophy there was by you teaching the basics, it will enhance your knowledge even further.
Yeah.
And like basically cement what you know for the basics, and then you'd become a master of it, which makes total sense.
Of course, yeah.
In any discipline ever on the earth of anything.
Right, but this is a big moment for Chic because he's ready. And he's like, well, who am I going to teach these basics to? And,
But he was angry at first.
Well,
That's what I'm noting. Like, he was like, basics, I can't just teach the basics.
well, he was angry until he
he's
saw
like-
his student.
Well, he was like Napoleon Dynamiting upstairs because he says something. He's like, "Wow, I was learning like sweet moves with."
Who had bow staff skills.
And he had a weapon. He's like, I was like doing bow staff with like with Master Jerry over there. So whatever, bro. And I was like, that's why he's bummed because there's like that weapons montage scene, and now he's taken out of the fun montage.
Like I dodged the things, the morning stars, but then the sensei's like, well, here's your student. It's this 80s babe with big old Sigourney Weaver alien hair.
Yes.
And he's like, "Boo." And he's all into it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to teach this chick some basics.
I think I passed it at some place, but sometimes I've been marking just musical notes now. And one was, I now know what too much steel drum is. Because it was like, there was one song that was clink, 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 la clink, clink. Like honestly, for 3 minutes. That might be later. The other one I just saw, oh yeah, it's the soundtrack I wrote. It sounded like if it was the video game version of Sesame Street.
Sure.
Yep. And then my side note to myself was the music was making me want to drink orange juice. if that helps at all, if that really paints a picture for you.
I'm more confused now.
Imagine just, Sesame Street and Big Bird and a lot of like bells and whistles and a lot of steel drums and a lot of weird synth and a lot of people just drinking orange juice in the streets. Seems
Okay.
right.
It sounds, you got to get your vitamin C somewhere. If you're going to be ninja busting, you got to get your nutrients.
Thank God. Thank God.
So now we've established who the love interest for Chic is. So who's going to be the love interest for Bernie? Fuck. Like Weekend at Bernie's.
Yep.
Okay. And
It's Tina.
What's
up, Tina?
So they're closing up shop for the night, and Sensei's like, hey Bernie, go lock up the weapons.
Yeah. What? And hey, Sensei, why did you say this as we were like, a flight of steps downstairs?
Well, like they're already outside. He's like, oh, by the way, get your fucking shit back upstairs.
Right. Like,
lock up the weapons.
I could understand almost like any other task. Like, oh, could you actually run up there and get something? Could you lock the door?
Right.
Could you do anything? But like, let's backtrack. We should all make sure the weapons are always locked up. Maybe as a group. Like, this isn't just like one person's deal. Like, these are weapons. Lock them up.
Well, I think maybe Sensei was trying to do a little matchmaking because what's her name? Linda?
Tina?
Tina's up there and she's stretching out. She's all tight. She's tight from her sesh.
I don't know if that sounds right.
No, she's super tight. She has to stretch it out. That's what she says. No. And Bernie's like, at first he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this, but then she's like, hey, maybe we should just make out for a second.
Oh yeah, but wait, seriously, side note, she is stretching in a way that I always wish I could have done, and it's where you put like your feet. So imagine you are on the floor, you put your legs and your feet forward, and you're able to just crane your back straight up.
Oh, sure.
And like dome it, and then like you kind of just look like a turtle.
Yeah.
I dream of that day because I hope my back just cracks in 1,000 different places, but I saw that, and anytime I see anyone do that, I'm like, yes, someone teach me that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So Bernie ends up getting involved in this and like giving her a massage. I don't remember what the conversation was, but I wrote down, I hope they don't call you Fast Bernie for everything.
You just go. He kind of just leans in, and she's like, I think you're like being fast. And he's like, they call me Fast Bernie.
Okay.
And she goes, I hope you're not fast at everything. And then they just start making out.
Yeah, they just start making out. And then, boom, montage number 3.
with a jazz flute.
With a jazz flute, yeah. We have tapas and moodscapes, jazz flute. I don't even remember what happened in this fucking montage. It doesn't matter.
Really quickly, I think, I know how the montage basically ends. Now we're kind of elapsing time that they are spending some time together. Mm-hmm. The head sensei, or master, in this case, he kind of comes in and there's a little bit of shenanigans. We could skip over that.
Oh, this is like the getting to know you montage.
Yeah, but now they're like doing stuff and they're clearly seeing each other more at this dojo. Mm-hmm. And then they're like going on some like side dates and they're having some fun. And then immediately he's like, I want to give you this ring.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like sitting in like some like windowsill.
This fucking ring. He's like, it's my dad's ring. She's like, I don't fucking want it. He's like, no, I want to give it to you. It's inscribed. And then he reads the inscription and it is fucking War and Peace.
I don't know if this was supposed to be a joke.
I think it was, but it didn't land that way.
No, it did not. So the joke was he's like, I think he reads an inscription and it's like the old adage, like the journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first one or something like that. I probably butchered the phrasing of that. And then she's like, oh, but then he keeps like reading these things and he keeps turning the ring. And they do kind of pan away, and he laughs, and she doesn't. Like I don't.
It was.
I think weird. It was supposed to be a joke, but yeah, it's something's weird. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it goes on for a long time.
Wait, actually, Mike, it goes on for quite a long time because now 3 years have passed.
Three years have passed.
Hard cut to
well,
straight up 3 years.
There was a fourth montage in between the ring and 3 years passing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. See?
Yeah.
So many montages.
This was the fourth.
This was full montage.
And yeah, oh God. And I believe the final montage, but it's happened. Yeah, 3 years have gone by.
Yeah, and so yeah, and I can note this because I don't know if I even catch the woman's name who's with Chic. Chic. It's like Katie.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Catherine.
It's something like that.
But because soon after they're like they note like 3 years, like it's now been 3 years. And I was like, oh, so they must have known each other, kind of more recently. So and he says like, I've known you for over 3 years.
Yeah. So we haven't quite gotten there yet. The exchange that they have in the restaurant is amazing.
Oh my God.
So, but yeah, it's 3 years. Now we're halfway through this movie. This movie is an hour and a half long. I felt like I've been watching it for 3 years at this point.
You would have had a black belt.
I could have had a black belt. But now it's time for the fight. It's time for the fight between Sonny and Weekend at Bernie's. Mm-hmm. And they just beat the piss out of each other for a while.
Yeah.
And no one wins. And they're kind of having an okay time.
I actually really like this scene. They are demonstrating martial arts, and the last scene, it looks like they're each about to punch each other in the face, but it freeze frames really quickly.
Right. And then cut to the restaurant.
Then you're at a restaurant and a waitress is asking.
It's the same waitress from earlier.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and she's like, what the fuck happened to you guys? And they're like, we just beat the hell out of each other.
That's what Sonny says.
Right, and Sonny's like, give me some popcorn. He just wants some popcorn.
Yeah, and everything's back to normal. Boom.
Yeah, and they're just hanging out. They're buds now.
Yeah.
And this is where we have Chic and fucking Katie or whatever. And he's like, yeah, like we've known each other for 3 years and I really like you. And she's like, you know what? You're a big clumsy doofus. I can't take you to meet my family. You're going to like trip on shit and embarrass me.
Okay, so there's a lot of weird things going on. Yes, let's put this in perspective.
Yeah.
These two have been dating for over 3 years. I mean, because there is like they go out once.
Right.
So now I assume they have been dating for over 3 years. Like these are full adults.
Or,
like,
I mean, dating maybe, but yeah,
figure it out. Like, you should have. And if not, like it's kind of weird because like Chick lives in the place you go to apparently every 5 minutes of your life.
Right. So like after this big heartfelt thing that he gives her, and she shoots him down with this like, no, you're too big of a chode and a doofus. Well,
that's the other distinction you want to make. She goes, you're a real jerk. Just straight up calls him. So I'm like, wow. So I'm like,
jerk ass.
Yeah. So she goes, yeah, you're a jerk. So because he's highlighting, he wants to take it further. Like, I want to take it further. She's like, you're a jerk. Like, I can never introduce you to my parents. But then she just, she really just defines him that he's a klutz.
Right.
Like, you would fall over things, you would break things. Now I just feel bad for the guy. I'm like, well, you're really not a jerk.
No.
Not in the context she is at least saying. I mean, he's demonstrated jerky things, but I was like, oh, wow. And then flips it up and she's like, well, but, let's just see how things go. And then tonight you'll bring me back to my apartment and we're clearly going to have sex. But, like, just be cool about it and we'll see where it goes.
Right. Like,
and,
you're a jerk and a klutz and you can't meet my family. Tonight we're going to fuck. We're not going to date, so don't even think about it. Jerk ass.
Call in for any kind of relationship advice. Write us. The call in is really write us. I would like, Dear Rabbit Troop sucks. Like, Dear Rabbit Troop sucks. I've been in a 3-year relationship and my partner is calling me a jerk, but whatever. I fell over a rock once. Like, what's going on?
Right.
Like, well, we can handle it. The answer is do not be in this relationship. What are you doing? That person seems awful.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Now we're getting into the actual ninja busting portion of the movie. So far, zero ninjas have been busted.
Well, but now we have a mob boss. And I was like, oh yeah, that guy.
Right, the mob boss from earlier, the guy that owned the warehouse that they used to work for. He calls up the ninja lady. He's like, hey, I need your ninjas later. She's like, cool, yeah, they'll be there. I got ninjas. Because what happens is that there's a deal going down. So he's working with these guys who are wearing like fucking leopard print camouflage get-ups for some reason. And I don't know if they're supposed to be like Black Panther kind of deals, but they kept talking about like the people. We represent
revolution.
the people and like the people dealing cash. So we have cash. But basically these militants are buying guns from the
mob boss?
The mob boss guy.
Yeah.
From Santos.
Mike is correct. Like the background of these people, I have no idea.
It's not mentioned.
It's some
it doesn't
kind
fucking
of
matter.
In America, revolutionaries. I don't know what's going on.
Like a little bit later, the main revolutionary guy goes on this little spiel about like the workers are going to take power back from the oligarchy and something owning the means of production. Like and I don't say this like as a negative thing, but he's talking like some commie stuff.
You watched, I think, some of the series, the movie. I know for a fact you've watched the movies that made us on Netflix.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch any of the toys that made us?
Maybe a couple.
I watched several of them. One was clearly about Star Wars. It's super interesting. I mean, you don't have to be like super into Star Wars. It kind of helps if you are. But just like how a toy line just reimagined other toy lines. But I think like went to movies like this, because this is 84, that do you think someone out there was like, dude, there might be a toy line like involved with Ninja Busters, like between Ghostbusters, the name.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me.
So we're like, we got the hardcore general of like the guerrilla people's army, and the guerrilla warfare tank that they could use, and the guerrilla people's army, and their junkyard display set, and then ninjas there. I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine.
Yeah, these guys are weird. Like, all they do is show up and get their asses kicked, so it doesn't really matter who they are, what their message is.
But it's also not really guerrilla warfare, which they're kind of advertising that they're going to do. That's why I keep saying it's like the guerrilla, people's army.
Right.
That they are like we're going to like attack and we're going to do this, but it's really just people standing around in broad daylight in the middle of a junkyard.
Right. So I don't really know what is going on, but like after this phone call and the ninja thing is coordinated, Chip and Bernie and Junior, what the fuck's his name? Sonny. God damn it. Chip and Bernie and Sonny are fucking walking down the street to go somewhere. They get into like this weird ad hoc breakdance competition.
Again, Sonny.
Sonny fucking killing it.
Sonny's my favorite character of this movie.
Yeah.
Sonny knows how to roll.
Sonny
Sonny committed to a 3-year black belt to beat someone's ass.
Right, just to like
it,
settle a vendetta.
and then you go get some beers at the local bar, and then you go
Right.
break it with some kids.
Yeah,
It's great.
and he shows these kids what's what. Then fucking Chick tries to break dance, but he's just like ham boning basically.
Sure.
Yeah,
He is a hambo.
yeah. So I don't know if I was taking a note or if it just kind of happened real fast. But sometime between this and the deal going down, like they're in a car watching a drug or like this weapons deal go down. I don't know how they got there.
You're correct.
Okay, so I didn't like miss a piece. They're just walking along. They see this happening.
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, that's our old boss."
And they're hiding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hide out in their car.
Yeah, they like hide in this old Datsun, and watch this go down.
Yeah.
Fuck does this say?
What does it say?
I don't know.
But the deal basically goes wrong between this mob boss and these revolutionaries. The mob bosses are like, "Hey, here are these guns. We've got like it's like 80 machine guns and like I think it was like another 80 handguns."
Yeah,
And they give them to the revolutionaries. They're like, "Cool.
yeah. The revolutionary.
We're not going to pay you. Like when this country is liberated, we'll pay you."
Right. This
a
is
new
where
country.
the speech comes in, and then the mob boss is like, "The people don't want revolution; they want television and gadgets." And
They
it
do. I love gadgets.
and something. The only people who care are women and men who prefer to live as women, which I thought was a weird thing to say. But then the ninjas come out.
Oh wait, this is where I wrote. I now know what too much steel and or electric steel drum sounds like.
There's a lot of drums, a lot of steel drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ninjas come out. And the ninjas initially are just getting their asses kicked by the revolutionaries.
Yeah, I am thoroughly disappointed with these ninjas.
They're the worst ninjas.
Yeah, like
They're
what?
busting themselves.
Yeah, like okay. So at one point in time, a revolutionary runs in a little kind of corridor of cars, like compressed cars at a junkyard. So imagine, I mean, it's like I don't know, like 4 feet wide and like 40 feet long. And there are 12 ninjas, and a guy just runs past all of them. Like, honestly, like, shirking them off like it was like the big football move in a game. Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Are you serious? These ninjas have swords. They have shurikens. Come on. What's going on here? Let's start deploying those. Ninjas are like popping out of the trunks of cars. It is kind of the Benny Hill of ninja scenes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the soundtrack to this movie may as well have been yakety sax.
With steel drums.
With steel drums, because that is what's happening.
Yeah, it's really weird, but the tide turns, and the ninjas do start beating the crap out of these revolutionaries, and a couple of them run off, I think. But the ninjas are successful, and that is why you pay those ninjas, and that's why the mob bosses did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're expendable, just get some ninjas.
I don't remember when it was. I think it was before this, but we see the woman who's in charge of the ninjas again.
Yeah.
And she is, it looks like she's watching soap operas while laying on a couch, but she just picks up this, like rotary phone. She's like, "Hi.
Hi.
Yes.
Did you need ninjas? I have them still."
There are more ninjas." And the guy's like, "Well, we're going to do blank and blank because, these guys are trying to bust us." And she's like, "We are the bad guys. Ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
And then I think she puts on the phone and watches her soap operas.
Right.
again.
And
She
then
loves
we
it.
never fucking see her again.
That is correct.
But yeah, so that, Bernie and Chick get found out. So they have to do a little bit of ninja busting to escape. But they do escape. And now Chick is like, "Hey, these ninjas are going to be fucking after us, Benny."
This is my favorite part of the
Yeah,
film.
this part's great. Because he's like, "You know what? We need help." So I was in Vietnam, and even though I was a big fucking pussweed up until 3 years ago, I fought in Vietnam. I know this guy. I haven't talked to him since Vietnam, which would have been, what, 10 fucking years?
Yeah.
But he's a real badass. He's gonna fucking help us out. He can shoot things real fast.
It's basically the soldier of fortune type.
Yeah, and they go to his house.
Yeah,
and he's like,
because Bernie says something like, like, oh, isn't he afraid of those guys? He's like, no, he's gonna say yes because he likes.
He just fucking loves doing this shit. Yeah, that's what it is. So they go in there. He's got like a headband. He's fucking ripped. He's doing bicep curls. He's got
it is this huge dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like awkwardly hands Bernie this big weight. Bernie drops it to the floor. It's like way too much. And I love it because he's like, hey, buddy, or a chick is like, hey, buddy, like, you know, we need this help for these reasons.
Right. I know I haven't talked to you in like 15 years, but do you want to fucking kill some ninjas? He's like,
do I?
Of course I do.
He's like, do I? Of course I do. And this is what we're going to do. And a ninja comes in and immediately kills him.
Right. The ninja just like walks in the front door, super casual, fucking kills this guy and leaves. Chick and Benny are like, balls. I gotta find a new mercenary.
So you learn a lot of life lessons when you watch some of these films. And one of the lessons I've learned is do not, you know, preoccupy yourself with loud things in front of a massive door to your, like I don't mean a door within your house, but I mean a door into your house. So don't lift weights in your front door because one day a ninja might just open it, stab you, and leave.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Lock the door behind you, guys.
Did they even kill that ninja? I can't remember.
No, he just fucking leaves.
Chick and Burn also leave too because they run out the front door, get in the car, and book it.
They book it back to the dojo, and they talk to the sensei, and they're like, hey, sensei, new development. We're getting chased by ninjas, so we got to fucking sort some stuff out.
Yeah, that's said too, like verbatim. Like,
yeah.
It's like, hey, guys, what's going on? We're being chased by ninjas.
And so what would anyone do when they're being chased by ninjas? The first suggestion is, let's go to a nightclub.
Yeah.
Just go to this fucking nightclub. There's a shitty Tito Puente cover band playing. That we'll be safe there.
Well, so Sensei number 1 is at the nightclub. I don't know if this was their plan. Was there a reason to go to this nightclub?
I don't. So this is the next time we see Sensei number 2 since the beginning of the goddamn movie, and he's I think he just does he own the nightclub?
I don't know.
He might. I think
have a lot of questions.
No, I think he might own the nightclub. I think that might have been even been mentioned.
So is that the reason they're going there?
I think that might be the reason they go.
Okay.
Because at the very beginning, I remember him like, so I own a dojo, I own a nightclub. Do you want to know how? Because I'm a badass.
I mean, is that okay? So their Shaun of the Dead situation is like instead of zombies, ninjas are a coming. We got to get to a nightclub.
Right. Instead of the Remington Arms or whatever the fuck the pub was. Yeah, they're going to this nightclub. And that, you know, that seems like a good idea. They're all having fun. Until the fucking ninjas show up.
And this is where I note that this is a 20-piece Latin American jazz band that is just dominating the sound. Mm-hmm. And it is not in the background. There are hard cuts to the band playing, the band hanging out, the band, I don't know, doing whatever.
Right.
The director clearly knows the band or was trying to make some moves on the band members. Were like, I'm a director. Like, yeah, your band could make it big. You're a hotel lobby band.
Right. They were.
I could be your access to the stars.
Yeah. So, but you know, fuck. The ninjas cut the power. They come on in, and there's a little bit of a battle. And now we find out that everyone in this nightclub is better at fighting than these ninjas.
That is correct.
Because, well, one, half of these people have guns. So the ninjas come in, and the first wave just gets shot.
Yeah, I mean, they are kind of the equivalent of the Foot Clan in the Ninja Turtle cartoons. I also know they're up to more antics sometimes, like these little ninja gremlins, like the little shenanigans, like running around doing stuff. I'm like, are you even like doing this on purpose? Like, I don't even know what's going on.
No one knows what's
going on. The ninja popping out of the trunk. Are you serious? That guy knew what he was doing.
It was a good hiding spot. Yeah, but so like there's some fighting, and honestly, I will say the fight choreography in this movie is not half bad.
No, this movie's really fun with that.
Yeah.
I also note that everyone's fighting ninjas so hard in this that this whole club is against the ninja.
It is. Oh, God.
That's right.
Bringing it back. They are against the ninja. So they beat off the first wave of ninjas.
No. Do they?
Yeah. And then they kind of flee the nightclub, and the ninjas give chase, and they end up in a like a jazzercise studio.
This I also, the guy insta killed, who's a big toughie. My favorite part. This is also kind of fun because imagine all these guys busting. I mean, also what's Dallas back? Imagine 80s workout facility.
Oh yeah, like neon leotards.
Yeah, like these women are clearly jazzercising.
Yeah.
And so imagine breaking into that, and all these guys are wearing like weird suits. And
Yeah, they're all, like in nightclub suits.
And just the like aerobics instructor is just not having it.
No,
Like,
she's
what
like,
do you guys want
doing here? Like, this is a women's exercise group. They're like, no, like we're being chased by ninjas. She's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Sensei commandeers the phone.
Yeah, he's like, I got to use your phone. There's fucking ninjas. She's like, oh, okay. And then the ninjas show up, and she's like, oh, fuck. And some more battle ensues, but now the ninjas kidnap the two love interests.
It's kind of weird too, and I didn't know what they meant by this because all of a sudden they're like, the ninjas are just gone. Like there's not even like one like dead or like crumpled up in the corner. It's
no, they just get the fuck out.
Yeah,
of
they're just gone. Like you ninja would, I guess. Okay, but then they're like, all the women are gone.
Yeah,
and like you don't see anyone. You just see these guys. I was like,
Right.
oh my god, like that, like they just kidnapped all these women.
Also, it's worth noting that 3 fucking years ago, when these two dingleberries showed up at this dojo, Bernie's girlfriend was already a black belt.
That is correct.
3 fucking years ago. Chic has been training whatever, Susie, for 3 years.
Yes. So you would assume she's probably a black belt.
Right. These chicks put up no fight.
They did not.
They get kidnapped and they're like, oh no, and that's it.
And they are the only ones that are kidnapped because then the
Correct.
aerobic instructor comes out as like basically like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, we gotta go.
Yeah. She's like, good. Get the fuck out of my workout studio.
Yeah. So then they run to a junkyard.
Yeah, well, they're like, where did they go? And Chick and Bernie are like, well, it's Santos. He's probably at his warehouse full of illicit shit. They're like, let's go there. Perfect. So everyone runs over there and, oh no, it's a trap.
Yeah. So they get there and for some reason it's the whole warehouse center.
Yeah, it's the warehouse center. But there's no ninjas at first. It's just a bunch of like fat guys.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. And people they've been working with, I guess.
Right, like just people they know from their job
like,
earlier.
Hey, Todd. Hey,
Right.
Lou.
The peanut butter sandwich guy from earlier was there.
He stood down.
He's like, I got to kick your ass, I guess. No, he's dead. He's dead. It's 3 years. He didn't make it.
That's a good point. I was like, I wonder if we go back, like, is he in the back?
I don't know. I'm not
But
going
that's
to
a good
rewatch
call.
it to find
But
out.
then we could write it off story-wise. It's
Yeah.
been 3 years.
But he might have been there.
But maybe it's the backstory. Like he like made peace that day. Like
Yeah.
he's like, I can't. Like I told those chaps my peanut butter story, my peanut butter woes. They really listened. They gave me advice. Maybe put some jelly on it. Changed
Right.
my life, man.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
Yeah. But and now we have the final battle, and it's the fat guys, the warehouse workers, and the ninjas show up as well.
And so when you see our picture, I wanted to honor the film, and I took a picture of the menu screen on the Blu-ray, but it's also the cover of the film, and under like a caption on the film is, "These guys are gonna kick your ass," and it's like they finally assembled this crew. It's 5 people. It's the Grandmaster Sensei,
Yeah.
his number one, and then the 3 proteges. Sonny was the newcomer, and then Chick, and then Burn. So I'm like, this is crazy. It's just the 5 of them. Sonny does get off a call in mid-fight to his old biker friend, Mike's
Yeah.
favorite. The old guy's like, you got to get down here. And he's in the middle of arm wrestling. And
Yeah,
he's like,
he takes the call while he's arm wrestling.
and then, Sonny's finding off ninjas, too. He's like, it's at the Dock and Blank, blah, blah, blah. Here's the address. You got to be here, man. You better be here. So, they also round up the biker crew. It's kind of fair. You got 5 ninja busting masters and a biker gang versus a whole warehouse crew of people. And I mean, like, warehouse, like the amount that would be at like an automotive plant, like hundreds of people, and a ninja army.
Yeah. I want to talk about Sonny's fighting style real quick. Because everyone else kind of has a more traditional, I don't know any martial arts, but it seems like a more traditional style. Sonny is like Eddie Gordo. Like he's flip flopping around. At one point, he's doing the goddamn worm while kicking someone's ass.
You saying he caught the goo?
He caught the goo.
He did the windmill.
He did do the windmill. Even the bus driver said he won. Yeah, like his fight, his fighting style is like breakdancing, and it's honestly kind of rad.
Oh yeah, Sonny's the best character in this whole movie.
Sonny's dope as fuck. He fights exclusively wearing a vest and no shirt.
Yeah, he looks like he's either going to play like a pickup game of basketball or like take a nap. Either or. Oh, he has to fight a ninja. He's ready.
Yeah, whatever. Fine. So the biker reinforcements show up, and they're there for about 18 seconds before the battle's over.
That is correct.
Yeah. Like they made this big deal. Like there's a bunch of them. They roll in on their hogs.
Oh, I can't remember. There is like a kind of honorary 6th member to the ninja busting crew. It is like the number 1. It's like his friend, but he jacked up his arm.
Oh, like it was the bouncer from the nightclub. Yeah, this guy was great. He looked like he was wearing like a plastic mask.
Yeah.
Because his face was all fucky.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was great. He was telling stories in the nightclub about how he fucked people up. And even when they send him to the hospital after the nightclub fight, but he comes back. I don't know how the fuck he knew where they were.
With his arm in a sling.
He had his arm in a sling. Yeah, he's got his arm in a fucking sling, and he is beating off ninjas with one hand.
That's how you got to do it.
Yeah. But that's it. Like now they fucking win, and
there's a ceremony.
And it's like the end of New Hope.
Yeah.
It's
like Sonny.
The three
Chic,
of them, Sonny, Chic, and Burn, they receive the Special Medal of the Falcon.
Yes.
They put them on over their necks, and then Chic falls over, and then the movie's over.
Boom.
Because he's a clumsy fucking jerk.
And 3 years of black belt.
Yeah.
Black belting your way to the top. You can't do it.
No.
How'd you like this movie?
So I enjoyed watching this movie. Like I said, it felt like this movie was a million years long. But so like this movie's an hour and a half. The first 45 minutes of this movie, nothing fucking happens. It's dojos and montages and ring stories.
Right.
And then the second 45 minutes of this movie is a nonstop kung fu battle.
So I take it you like that second half.
You know, I like both. I like the movie start to finish. It just the beginning. They kind of front loaded a lot of stuff, and it felt really long. I do not regret watching this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I would be very careful with who I recommended this movie to, because this is a movie that not everyone is going to enjoy.
That's correct.
Because let's be honest, this is a terrible movie. Like from film craft to acting, like there is. Nothing about this movie is done well.
Martial arts.
The choreography is pretty dope. But like it all combines into a movie that is really fun. Like this movie is more than the sum of its parts. And this isn't like The Room where it just sucks and it's fun because it sucks. Like it's kind of dumb and goofy, and it's really entertaining.
I feel the same way. Rewatching this, there's a part of me that I totally agree with Mike. You've got to trim some of this movie down a bit. And part of me felt that, especially the first, 45 minutes. And I was like, oh man, like, are they going to start doing stuff? Like I have better memories of this movie and like more action. And they do. Like I don't remember the first half of it being so long. It is somewhat noticeable. But I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad I bought this movie ages ago.
Definitely.
I got it on some weird whim.
So, Chic, whoever that guy's name is,
yep,
he wrote this movie.
He is one. I think he's one of the 2 writers.
Okay, was the other writer Bernie?
I don't think so. Maybe I would have to look it up. Maybe it's the director.
So based on it. So okay, I'm going to backtrack. It seems like whatever the actor's name is that played Chic, the big lanky white dude, he did have some kind of martial arts ability.
Okay.
I mean, does that seem reasonable?
He's in The Weapon and The Master. He's in other martial
arts
things.
The Master, like the boat movie with Russell Crowe? No, that's Master and Commander. I don't know.
That's another kind of movie, Mike,
Wait,
again.
was he Hard Master? No, didn't you say he was like?
Oh, you're wondering what the trivia of the movie
Yeah, no.
is.
Maybe you should read us the trivia real quick.
Oh, yeah. You're way off. On IMDb, there was one piece of trivia, and it's the guy who plays Chic is Sid Campbell.
Sid Campbell, that's
appears as Captain Kangaroo Pimp in Black Dynamite.
Yeah.
And so the only piece of trivia about this film is not really even about this film.
It's about a pimp.
Like a tangential note about the lead, one of the leads.
So, but do you think so? He co-wrote this movie. Do you think this was kind of like a fantasy semi-autobiographical movie about himself?
Probably.
Was Sid Campbell like a big fucking swinging limp dick, and he decided to learn martial arts to pick up chicks, and it didn't fucking work, so he decided to write a movie about it?
I mean,
because I would 100% believe that.
Because I mean, I feel this could be like in a different, nicer context, because that sounds very true and kind of awful and a little bit of grossness. But like this could easily be like a Japanese anime. Like for kids,
sure,
if we did
yeah.
different ages, where it was like again 80s style. If it was like I was bullied at school, well, I joined a dojo, and now like we do dojo things. Basically, I'm just describing Cobra Kai, the TV show, to you. So it's basically that. Like so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So this movie was fun for me.
I like it.
Yeah. Anyway. What are we doing next? What's next?
Get on the boat, buddy.
Ghost Boat. We're next week. We'll be we're doing a movie called Ghost Ship with Gabriel Byrne, and some other people are in this movie. And I have seen this movie a long time ago, and I think I remember liking it, but I feel like that might not hold up. But we'll find out.
Will you be drinking some bourbon to celebrate Carl Urban?
Oh, that's right. Carl Urban is in this.
That's right.
Carl Urban is great in everything.
He's got long hair.
Goddamn right he does. So we'll see how he holds up. He would have been young in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But if Ghost Ship isn't what you want to hear about, tell us what you want to hear about at Rabbit Troop Sucks Podcast at gmail.com. Or just at rabbittroopsucks.com, or join our Facebook group. We're on Instagram. We have a not at all active community there, so join that, create that conversation, and include us in it. Yeah, and what else? What else do you got?
I don't know. I feel we now have a couple ideas and movies on the horizon. I think some movies I think we're going to approach, again, our kind of mantra and our summary of ourselves have been, we look at overlooked or obscure or forgotten films. That some of the films that we just need to look back at, I just keep thinking, like tons of people would see it. We mentioned this about Hackers, like, we're going to do this Hackers episode. Like tons of people have seen it, but then I'm thinking like maybe a lot of people haven't. I mean, there's even some 80s gems where I'm like, I don't mean like The Breakfast Club. Like no one's ever seen that one. But I mean, like there's just been a couple movies that I thought like, oh yeah, like everyone's seen that. I'm like, I bet if someone is under 30, they'd be like, I have no idea what movie you're talking about.
That's fair. I always forget how fucking old we are. Yeah.
Well, it's also just kind of like, think about when we were younger and the access to films we had then versus now. I mean, Chris, who was on the show, on his podcast, noted he got Ghostbusters, and it was for Christmas, and it was $100.
Right.
Because like that's how much movies cost. And then, we're a little older. I remember collecting VHS tapes, and I could go to Blockbuster Video, and when they stopped renting them out, like in Maine, like in the main like bulk of like 40 versions of blank for a movie, you could start buying them for like $8.99. And I was like, oh my God, I could own movies. Now we have access with all these streaming channels just to like decades and decades and decades of movies.
And we're your Sherpas through these shitty fucking apps as to what movies to watch.
Yeah. Some of the apps are better than others. I can't remember if we noted that Sumo did not have a search function.
Sumo fucking sucked.
That was so weird.
Yeah.
That was so weird.
But yeah, like Tubi always has surprises for me.
Yeah, Tubi's great.
Yeah.
Tubi's on it.
Yeah. And Freebie has some good ones here and there. Yeah, there's just so many. There's so many. We have
And
so
that's
much.
what I mean too. And so like imagine
The
too,
bounty that
like,
we have.
Yeah, like let's say like so this movie came out in 84. Let's say we went to Blockbuster Video in 1990. Like they wouldn't have all these movies, but they would have like tons of them similar to this.
They wouldn't have had this one.
They definitely wouldn't have not have had this one. But now like where do these movies go? Like you either buy them, which I would assume that's not a super lucrative business right now, that everyone's just like, cool, I could buy all these things. Or you just put it up on streaming. And my guess is there's kind of like a payout platform where it's like, do you have a movie? Like we'll pay you per watch and stuff like that. And all these directors are like, well, now like these movies have been viewed by no one for the last 10 or so years.
Right.
We'd rather have people do it.
Maybe it's like when our songs that are on Spotify, and every 5 years we get like a check for 78 cents or whatever.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Keep sending those checks. Like one day I will save up and I will buy an Apple, not a
not the
Apple
computer,
product,
like
but a Granny Smith Apple.
Yeah, not even a good apple, not like a big one, like a pig lady or a Fiji.
Well, no, that's what I'm saving
Like
up
a
for.
small one.
I want like a nice
You
honey
want
crisp.
like okay, yeah. Well, keep dreaming, buddy.
La-di-da. This guy's into honey crisps. Yeah, well, get on the boat, folks, because Ghost Boat. We're going to do some ghost shipping around, and it's going to get us where you need to be. Yeah. I mean, as a landlocked area, Denver, Colorado, you know how many ghost boats you see every day.
Yeah, they're just floating around in the fucking Chatfield Reservoir.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Don't drink that water.
No, it's full of pee.
Rabbit Troop sucks.